Hi everybody, and welcome back to Kevin's Upfront Opinion today. So today I thought I'd speak about Nigel Farage for a change. I know that's a change. Okay, so done a few videos for him and I've knocked him quite a bit. I'm still waiting for that writ from his lawyers so that he's suing me for some of the comments I've made about him, but he hasn't done it yet. Maybe it'll be next week. Okay, so obviously where I have done a few videos, I've had quite a few comments, and to be honest, they've been split on what people think. So I've got certain people on one side who think he's the second coming of Christ, and then you got other people on the other side. Okay, and I'll take this guy's word is he's nothing but a con man, and he's managed to convince working class people he's on their side with the hat of the conservative support and media blaming minorities. Now, what's the truth, to be honest? And that's the question. What is the truth? So if you take into account Nigel Farage had a fantastic Friday with the results from the local elections. He couldn't have asked for better, to be honest. Was it a surprise? Not really. Not really at all. You expect the sitting government not to do well in local elections. Historically, it always happens. But normally you would have expected the Conservatives to pick them up, but because they're doing so badly, they've not really got any what I would call heavy hit politicians. A lot of people blame them for 10 years of failure and everything else that goes with it. The problems with immigration, the problems with the economy. You could just keep it ringing on, but I don't want to be spending the next 15-20 minutes whining about the Conservative Party, which could easily be done. So, is it a surprise? No, it's not. So, as he's managed to take control of councils, I think the wisest thing that he said, which is what he said to journalists from ITV, is he can only do so much because he's relying on funding coming from main government, and county councils for years have been squeezed. There's no argument about that. And I understand where he's coming from when he complains about the waste in expenditure, because there is massive waste. You could even look at local councils. Okay, you have the same problem. I just look at my local council, Gosport Borough Council. The amount of money they've absolutely squandered is absolutely ridiculous. So is Nigel Farage correct with that, with what he said? Yeah, he is. And it's not often that I'm going to agree with Nigel Farage. Where I do have a problem with him is when he keeps on going on this bandwagon about immigration. And I don't dispute immigration is a massive problem in this country. It is a huge problem. But he's never going to solve that problem. And when people say Nigel Farage will implement Brexit, he's not going to implement Brexit. What people got promised under Brexit, Nigel Farage is not going to be able to implement, because the reality is America is not our biggest trading partner. It is never going to be our biggest trading partner. Europe is our biggest trading partner, and Europe is never going to give us this wonderful, sweet deal that everybody keeps on dreaming of. It's not going to happen. You're living in cloud cuckoo land. You were living in cloud cuckoo land when the Brexit debate was going on, and I voted for Brexit. But that is the reality. So when it comes to Nigel, and this is where I am with him, if he wants to be a force and break up the two-party system that we've had in this country, and I still believe we do have a two-party system, because he hasn't proven it. Just because of what he's done at the local elections does not prove that he's the opposition. He is not the opposition. He has what, 5 MPs, 6 MPs, whether you want to classify Rupert Lowe as an Reform MP still. It's down to you technically, I would say, because it's never been, he may classify himself as an independent now. He is not the opposition. And my biggest gripe with Nigel Farage is he needs to talk about more than just immigration. It's all well and good talking about immigration, but unless you're going to come up with a solution to that problem, and people have asked me for a solution, I've come up with a solution. But Nigel Farage doesn't. All he says is, we'll deport them all. You're not going to deport them all. You're fundamentally not. But what I want to know from Nigel is this. What are you going to do about the waste in government? What are you going to do about crime rates? What are you going to do about broken homes? What are you going to do about the economy? It's all these things that affect people massively up and down this country, but you're not answering. You're just doing, which is very clever, you're swamping it about immigration and avoiding the big subjects, the things that do fundamentally affect people every single day. NHS, another one. Education, another one. All these things, they're not being spoken about by you. Or if you do, you don't talk a great deal about it. And these are the things that are important. So what I am going to say is, Nigel, you need to start talking about these things, because you're not doing it. And if you really want to be a force at the next election, and let's not kid ourselves, the next election's not for another 4 years. It's 4 years into the next election. It's August 2029 at the latest. Okay, so you've got 4 years to turn things around. And you could go miles in the lead, or people will start waking up, come to the realisation of your spin, and your numbers will start plummeting. No different to Conservatives in the last Parliament. They were miles ahead of Keir Starmer. And Keir Starmer wised up, and he caught up with them, and he went ahead. So it's down to you at the end of the day. So I'm going to stop rabbiting on, because I do have a knack of rabbiting on. Let us know what you think. Could Nigel Farage actually break up the two-party system? Let us know in the comments down below. Or what does he need to do to be able to do that? Because it is a challenge for him. So let us know in the comments down below. Obviously, if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe as well, and I would appreciate that as well. But for now, thanks for watching. I'm going to speak to you again a bit later.